In our first episode, we began talking about adolescents, and we said something very important. We said that adolescence is not a crisis stage as most people think. It is rather a construction stage. Today I want us to go deeper because if we're honest, we would admit that many adults are not confused about teenagers' growth. They are only confused about their reactions. And many of them tend to ask questions like, why the sudden mood swings? Why the intense emotions? Why the quick anger? And why the silence today and laughter tomorrow? If you have ever asked yourself what is happening to an adolescent child, then this conversation is for you. Today we are talking about the teenage brain and why they think, feel, and react differently. Knowing that if you understand this, you will stop taking many things personally. I would like you to know that one of the biggest questions I get from parents and even teachers is this: why do teenagers react like that? And honestly, that's a valid question because sometimes they react so fast. At times they react so emotionally and in ways that genuinely confuse adults. Here is the thing. During adolescence, the brain is still under construction. It's literally still wearing its stuff at the stage. And the emotional part of the brain, that is the part that feels anger, excitement, embarrassment or rejection, tends to develop earlier. But the parts responsible for decision making, impulse control, long-term thinking develops later. So you may want to ask, what does this mean? It simply means that emotions for adolescents are strong, but their regulation is still growing. When you understand this, you start responding differently. Instead of saying to an adolescent child, why are you overreacting? You begin to think, okay, this is a developing brain responding in real time. And that alone changes your tone immediately. Now, let's talk about risk-taking for a moment, because that's another thing that worries adults a lot. Teenagers take risks, they test boundaries, they push limits. But you have to pause for a second and ask if that's actually part of growth. Adolescence is a stage where a young person is trying to figure out who they are, where do they belong, what makes them different, and what makes them accepted. And sometimes the desire to belong becomes stronger than the fear of consequences. So, instead of asking a direct question such as, why would you do something like that? You may try using a softer tone such as, what were you hoping to feel in that moment? You may ask to know if they hope to feel acceptance. You may ask to know if they hope to feel freedom or validation. You see, this is important because once you understand the emotional need behind adolescent behavior, you can guide them more effectively. Now let's talk about something else that's important: emotional intensity. Teenagers feel deeply. Rejection to them doesn't feel small, it feels huge. Embarrassment to them doesn't feel temporary, it feels permanent. Criticism to them doesn't feel instructional, it feels personal. And when you as an adult or adults minimize those feelings, even unintentionally, something happens. The adolescent child withdraw. They stop sharing because they feel misunderstood. This is where validation becomes powerful. Validation at this stage does not mean you disagree. Yes, of course you need to validate them, but it doesn't mean you agree totally. It simply means that you acknowledge them too. You can say something like, "Oh, I understand that this feels big for you." That sentence alone can lower their emotional walls. Let me share something that made this feel real for me. I once spoke with a mother who was frustrated with her 15-year-old son. She said, "I don't understand him anymore. Everything turns into an argument." One evening, she asked him to turn off his game and come to dinner. He snapped, raised his voice, dropped the controller hard on the table. And in that moment, her first instinct was anger. She wanted to say, "Why are you behaving like this? What is wrong with you?" But she paused. She remembered that we had talked about the brain of the teenager before. And so, instead of reacting, she followed him to his room and sat down beside him. And then she asked softly, "What just happened inside you?" There was silence. Then he said, "I had a bad day at school. I felt stupid in class. The game was the only place I was winning." And suddenly, the argument wasn't about dinner anymore. It wasn't about disrespect. It was about bruised sense of worth. It was about trying to hold on to one small victory in a day that made him feel small. And that's the difference understanding makes. Teenagers don't always say, "I am overwhelmed." They don't always say, "I feel embarrassed." They don't say, "I need help." It often comes out as attitude. It comes out as anger and shutdown. Which brings me to something very important. So, the next time a teenager reacts intensely, please pause. Instead of asking what's wrong with you, ask what's happening inside you. That one shift can transform your relationship with your adolescent child. And that's what youth development is really about. Not controlling behavior, but understanding development. Because adolescence is not a crisis stage, like I said earlier. It's rather a construction stage. Everything is being rebuilt. Identity, confidence, emotional regulation, and independence are all being rebuilt. If you are a teacher, parent, guardians, understand the process. You stop reacting to the noise. You should stop reacting to the noise and start guiding their growth. In our next episode, we'll go deeper into peer influence and identity formation, because who teenagers surround themselves with plays a powerful role in who they become. Until then, remember this: adolescence is not rebellion, it is development. Thank you.